Yeah, hi there, and welcome back. And let us continue with our lesson. And today we are going to learn about the Google Play in-app review. So let's go and take a look. So I'll go back to the my web app over here, and this says that the Google Play in-app review API. So if you are not familiar with this one, what does actually it does is it's API that will help us to provide feedback or the review for our application in a easy way. So previously, when we doesn't have this API, we had to force the user to navigate back to the Google Play Store and where they can provide a feedback or the review for your application. But with the help of the Google Play in-app review API, it's quite easy. So we don't have the user to navigate back to the Google Play where they can provide a feedback. From your app itself, there is an option they can provide a feedback of all of those. So you can see here when we are running our application, it just asks us to provide a feedback. So here user can provide a feedback and give a star rating and also add a comment. And you can just go through all of the document over here, and the device requirement, we also need to have at least an Android version of 5 or the API level of 21 or the higher, and must have a Google Play Store installed in your phone or the device that you are running this one. If you don't have a Google Play Store installed on the particular device, then you are not going to get this dialog for the app review. And which means that whenever you are creating for a testing device like your virtual device, you must have a Play Store to test and install all of those features. And also we need to Play Store core library. So the Play core library must have a version of 1.8 or the higher, and later we'll see how to integrate that one. And also we have some of the API review that we when to request. So you should not request the review API to come up and show the dialog. Like let's say you just install the application and you just pop up the dialog to review. So that's not going to work. So it's a good way that you just wait for at least 1 week or 2 week or at least a month before you can give a dialog to a user to review your application. So that's a great way that users are already familiar with your application, so they are they have more trust on your application to provide a feedback. And also there are some of the things you can just go and read, and the design guideline, and also there is a quota limit. So let's say you just shown you have just displayed the in-app review dialog to the user, and the user did not give any feedback, or user just canceled it. But on the next launch, you may not, the user may not see that particular in-app review because it has a quota limit and then there is a time limit. So if you take a look over, there's a time bound quota, so we have to take note. So in the for the if you are requesting a frequent request of the in-app review, then it says in the short period of time, for example less than a minute, might not always display a dialog. So if the dialog is already shown, then you may not see a dialog again and again with a short period of time. So we also have to take a note. So if it's already shown and on the next time you may not see that particular dialog, and you don't have to worry. So maybe or some code is wrong or something I did wrong. So you just have to wait because it depends on the time bound quota. So enough talking. So let's go and take a look on our code. So I recommend you to go and read this documentation because if you want to implement something, you must understand it clearly before implementing it. So I recommend you to go and read all of those documentation over here. So we just have to go to the Play Core library over here. So this is the Play Core library that we have to implement. So we will go back to our application, and this is a multi-module application. And if you are interested in this application, and if you want to buy or if you want to buy this source code, you can just contact me. And so we'll talk about it later. First of all, I'll go to my terminal over here, and what I will do is I'll create a new branch, git branch. So git check out dash b, and I'll just say that's feature feature 1, and just give a one new feature over here. It's always recommended that whenever you add or create a new feature, you just create a different branch for it. So I'll just go back over here and copy that. Okay, so I'll just copy this Play Code Library API, and I will go to the attendance module. So this is a multi-module application. So in the attendance module, I will add somewhere. Where is that one? This is a Dagger, RxJava. There should be of a Google Play. Okay, so Play service is over here. I'll just add just below of this one. And I need to add a double quote over here, right? And I'll add a double quote instead of single quote. And this version I'll replace with the variable that I have already created over here, which is of a play code and the play code KTX. So this is a Kotlin version, and this is for our core version. So just copy this one, and I'll go and replace this one with a $sign and paste that out, the variable name, and just go and get this one too. And I have to pass a $sign, and yeah, that's it. So I will just synchronize this one now. And after the synchronization has finished, then we are good to go to implement all of those. Okay, so the synchronization has been done. So let's go to the module of the attendance over here, and I will go to the UI section, and from the UI section, let's make use of the main activity that we have over here. And I need to create some of the variable on the top. So what I will do is I'll just go on the top and create a private, sorry, it should be a private, and var, and it should be of the review manager. So you can take a look, review manager from com.google.android.play. So I'll use a review manager, and this should be of the review manager, and let's give a nullable type and create a null value for this one. And I need another one, so private and var, and I also need a review info. Okay, so review info, which comes from here, Google Play Core, and this is also a review info, and let us make it as a null value by default, nullable. And then we'll go to somewhere here. Okay, so after, okay, so let's go on the top of this. Okay, let me go below here. We will create I think we create a review manager over here, and I'll just say review manager, which is of equals to review manager factory. So we have to take this one, com.google play.code.review. So review manager factory has a function or the method to create, and we need to pass the context. So context is of this. So we have a review manager already created. So next is, I think we will create a one function. So I think I'll just go and create a one function below over here, private, and I'll call it as a function, and I'll just say app review. So we have an app review, and here we will just say that I'll just log it for the debug purpose. So timber.d, and I'll just say app review. And okay, so app review. After that, I will say that val, and I'll create a one new task. Let's say task which is of equals to review manager. So we have a review manager, and I'll just say that request the review flow, request review flow. So when we request the review flow, it will go and get the flow from the review. So it will actually go and check whether that it has already whether it has a review or not. So if you go and call this function, okay, so review all of the needed information to launch a review flow. So all of this, so you can just go through all of the doc over there, and I have a task over here, and from this task I can check now whether it's a success or the failure. So all of those stuff I can check from here. tags, and it's a nullable, so I have to check add. Add on, we will say complete listener. So whenever it is completed, then we will take a look, and we will just check if the this is just request request. So this is a lambda expression. So request, sorry, request, when we have a request, if the request dot is successful, so which means we can check whether it was successful or not. If it is successful, then we will receive the information. So I'll just say review info. So now we get a review info, which is of equals to our request dot result. So we have a result, review info. So if you take a look, the request dot the result is of the review info. So I'll just get the result from here. Now we have our review info, and I'll just check for the review info, and it's nullable. So I have to check. If it is not null, then we will just go and get the val flow, and which is of equals to review manager. So this is review manager. And I'll check over here and launch a review. So we will check and launch the review flow over here, and we need to pass over here two parameters. You can say activity and the review info. So activity is of this is a current activity, and the review info. So where is the review info? So review info is this one. So I suggest it, and we can just pass the value as the it over here. And now I can check that flow, right? If it is not null, then add on complete listener. So if we want to add on complete listener, so it doesn't, the flow, even the flow has finished, the API doesn't indicate whether the user has provided any review or not. It's not going to give you, say, like, okay, user has provided review, or whether the dialog was shown. So all of those doesn't have any, it doesn't, the flow doesn't provide any information. All of those you can just go and read the documentation. It has mentioned over there that it doesn't provide any when the flow has finished, it doesn't provide like user has provided the review or user just cancel it. So all of those are not get back on the this flow or the tags over here. So we'll just say that we can just log and check, say that just say timber .d, and I'll just say that review COMPL ET, the review completed. But we are not sure whether the user actually provided the review or not. The API doesn't have that ability to give that particular like whether the user has successfully done all of this stuff. And I think after that I will have another callback over here, tags, and I'll just check for the add on failure. So if there was some failure, so we can just log the error. So tim via timber.e, I'm using a timber over here, and that's it. Okay, so we have added the app review function over here, which will check for the review and display the review dialog. And when the review launch its flow, then whether it's complete or not, we can add on listener, but currently the API doesn't provide any of the information. So now we are, I think, good to go over. So it's quite easy to implement all of those stuff. So next is that we don't want the user, or we don't want to show that dialog for the app review every time. So let's say we want to check for the first time when the user install, we don't want that particular review dialog to pop up. We want to wait at least for let's say 1 week or 7 days. I think that should be a good time. So I'll just create one new function over here, private function, and I'll just say get number of days, get number of days app install. So let's say we want to get a number of days from the app install. So if it passed, like we want to check whether the app install was more than 1 week or the 7 days, then we can show that review dialog to the user. So first of all, let me create a val, and I'll just create a name as a days, which is of equals to 0. We should have a L, and this should return some value. So it should return a long. So let's say a long, and then we will just create a try catch block over here. Try and val. Since we have to make use of a package manager, so it's better we use a try catch block over here. So I'll just say a packagema package manager, which is of equals to application. We can get it from the application dot the package manager, and I need another one is a kage package name, which is equals to, I can get from the application, right? Application dot the package name. So I have a package name, and I also need a kage package info. So I need the package info, which is equals to application or package manager. So I can use a package manager dot the get the package info, and here I need to pass a version. So it should be package name. So string is of the package name I can pass, and second I just pass some integer value of the 0 over there, and then I have all of this requirement. And next is that I need to get the install time of that particular, when was the application installed. So we will get all of those. So I will just say val and install installed time. So install time equals to package info. Since we have a package info, I can get the installation time, the first install time. So now I have a first install time, which is on millisecond. So I need to convert that one particularly to a number of days. So I'll just call it val, and I'll just say diff, and which is equals to date. So date, and this I get the date, the time, minus I need to get the install time, minus install time. Okay. So we have a difference between the current time and the install time. So that should give a difference. So give us a difference of time in a millisecond. So using that millisecond, we have to convert it to a date. So now I can just say days. So days we can assign the value to our days. So for a 1 day, we have to calculate how many milliseconds we have. So for that, 1 day is equals to, I have to say 1 day. So we have a 1 day, right? So diff divide by 1 day calculation. So 1 day is of 60 into 60, and 60 into 60 into 24, each of 1 day. And then we have a millisecond of 1000, right? So this way we get a 1 day, and I can just copy this, and I'll just go on the top, and over here we can create a companion object, and I'll just create a constant val. So private, and a constant val, which is of equals to I'll just say 1 day, which is of equals, so I'll just paste that value. So now we have a 1 day. I can copy this and make use of here instead of that one, right? So I think that should be fine. So days, it should be of a var, so not the val. Sorry for that. So days is, now we get the days over here. So how many days it has been installed. So now I'll just say catch, and catch, I need to catch the exception, exception from the Kotlin, and then we will just use a timber.e to log that one. So I'll just log it, and finally we will return the value of the days. So finally will be called finally. So if whether it's an error or anything after that, it should call the finally. So we will return by default it's a 0, or we will get some value from the calculation over here. So now we have those calculation, and I can go and I think I'll call over here, and let's say, so in app review dialog, and if the instll installed time pass more than 7 days, so we will check for 7 days. We can check for 30 days or any days over here. I'm just checking for 7 days. So if the number of days installed app is greater than the 7, so if it's greater than the 7, or we can also check greater or equals to 7, then we can just show that app review dialog over there. So that's it. So that should be good enough. And where I have an error, so it's pointing some error, I need to fix that. So okay, I imported two exception over here. I need to remove one. And then on the finally, what I will do is on destroy. So on destroy is there. So I don't want the review manager and the review info to keep up any reference. So that will cause the memory leak. So I need to make it as null. So I'm not going to use that after the application is destroyed. So app review manager review info, which is I can set to null value. That's why I created a null value at the first, and we can set it to null, which is of null. This is to prevent a memory leak, because sometimes it may keep a reference to this particular class or the interface, so which can cause a memory leak to your application. So we must destroy it if you are not going to use it after your application get destroyed. So now we can run our application, and that should be fine. And the build has successful. So what we will do is I'll try to just log in to my application. So it should be of test1 at demo1.com, and password I think 1234567 something, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the login was successful, and you can see this is the application. And currently we cannot see any of the in-app review, because we need to publish this application to the Play Store, because this device doesn't have Google Play installed. So I need to update the app in the Play Store and then test it on the actual device. So this is how we can implement the in-app review. All this should be good enough, and you can just go and test it out. And you need to test it in a device where it has application or the Google Play installed. So if you are interested in buying all of the source code, this is a source code for the application name Good Day, which is basically our application that collect the information like of the attendance of the user. So if you're interested, just let me know. I'm ready to sell this application source code. And when you buy the source code, you can also get the source code for the Android app, as well as the source code for the web app. So we also have a web application. So let me try to log into my web app. So let us try to log in, and we will see all of the information that is passed through the application. So I can just go to the attendance, where we get the list of the attendance that the user has submitted, and also we have a notification, all of the master data, company information. So all of this information we can pass from the application from here. So if you're interested, just let me know, and there is a demo link at the below of this course, so you can just go and take a look of that link. And I hope you enjoyed this lecture. On next we will see some of the more interesting topic. Till then, have a great day. So let's meet up in our next lecture.